What's up? It's Jobringus, your favorite inefficient reg. It's currently the evening of January 31st, and oh no, I've lied to the folks. So I did not achieve 80 runecrafting, but I have a good excuse. Well, it's almost good. The answer is that adamant bars got pretty cheap. I just had to take a break to do some smithing, couldn't resist. And so here I am. I'll show you, this is kind of how I do. Usually the way I do smithing is very AFK. Usually I just smith and I don't use energy potions, and that's the least click intensive and makes it easiest if I want to play Jobringus on the side, or I just want to like watch some TV, not pay too much attention, or just play on my phone, again, not paying too much attention. If I am playing and focusing, then I might use energy potions to max out the experience, or I might do this where I also alch on my trips. And I think there could be some way where I could mix in energy potions as well as alchs and like run the whole time. I'm not super sure how to accomplish that, but I could probably, come up with that somehow. But basically, I get 2 alchs off if I'm running, and then I'll just walk and wait for my energy to restore, and I get 3 alchs off in a trip. And this requires a decent bit of attention, but still not like a huge amount. And since I'm planning on alching these plate bodies anyway, it seems worthwhile. Maybe I should look into how much they could sell for in a clan chat. Usually it's still like a slightly profitable alch if you buy them in, I think it was like W317 Anvil, something along those lines. Forget the name. But I know that there wasn't like a big margin for alchers. And maybe that's changed because the standard price was fixed, but it also was at a time when nature runes were almost 200 GP, and now nature runes are 100 GP. So, I'm sure I still squeeze out more profit by alching myself. But at some point you have to wonder if it's worth making that trade-off just to smith through more supplies. But anyway, here I am. This is what I've been doing. And really, if I'd taken advantage of how long adamant bars were cheap for, which was like a full week, I really should be like 96, 97 smithing right now if I had just put in a good 2 hours a day for it. But sometimes you don't feel like playing, so what can you do? And I took a break from runecrafting. I was going at a good, strong pace. I think I'm on the earlier end of this level. I have to double check that, but I think that's true. I've probably gotten like maybe 20%. It was probably something like 170k total XP, 160k. So I've gotten 15 to 20k XP chipped away at. And I still will finish that up. Oh, I missed the second alch. I've got a little over 7,000 bars to go, and hopefully tonight I get through the rest of them. I don't really plan on doing anything else tonight, so I think I'm going to be smithing until I run out of these bars, and then back to the runecrafting grind for 80, which I will achieve. And I snuck a magic level in there as well. Pretty sure the alching pushed me over. I don't know if it was teleporting or alching. And other than that, I think there's some other levels that I'm forgetting about. Because let's see, I don't know if that's everything accounted for. Maybe that is everything accounted for. Only 6 total levels. A pretty weak month of me playing. And February might also be a weak month of me playing. Kind of depends how a few things go. But I am hoping that in the spring and summer I find a lot of time to play. So hopefully I can, work towards those base 90s. They're not going to achieve themselves. Yeah, smithing, the alching is a bit boring for this, but whenever bars get cheap again, they're not expensive enough that it's worth me flipping the rest of my stack. Especially I have to keep in mind, how often do I get a good chance to smith them, and the fact that the 1% tax is like 19 GP per adamant bar, which is a pretty big deal. It's usually, the price of Addy bars doesn't even fluctuate that much over the course of a day. So if it gets to like low 1900s, that's, it's an uncommon occurrence. But hopefully next time that happens, I'll be a little more motivated to fully capitalize on it. Right now I'm, halfway to 93, and I should comfortably get the rest of the level up from the remaining bars I have. I forget how much experience exactly I have banked. Yeah, so I have like 400 odd K banked. So comfortably leveling up the smithing ones. Other than that, I watched Ebox Young's skilling improvements video earlier, and it gave me a little bit of inspiration to grind tonight, and also some ideas to change around certain aspects of my interface. I switched to larger XP drops and slower. I think I didn't realize that was a customizable thing in the official client. I thought that was some like Runelight specific or whatever specific thing, but it should be easier if I try and do like tick manipulation stuff ever, because yeah, it's true, like it's easier to follow the rhythm if these things are discrete longer. It's easier to count the ticks by how much the XP drop text boxes have, or the like text icons have moved. Someone also asked me if I've considered using the menu entry swapper thing for the Barbarian teleport. The answer is like no. I don't use Runelight. I don't really care to. I don't know. It's not a big deal to me. I sort of like playing, even though I understand that Runelight's like an official client these days, an officially, I don't know, supported client. I don't know, it's something I kind of just like playing in the old school way, where I don't have like a ton of plugins and modifications. There's something about the experience that feels clean about it. I talked about it a little bit, I think, in the last Jobringus video, where, I think if you look at like really high level RuneScape gameplay, sometimes it doesn't even look like RuneScape because of how many like tile markers and other, things there are, entity highlighters and all that stuff. So I like my clean, classic, old school look and feel, and sometimes I even turn on the original music and sounds if I feel like it. But it's, I don't know, it's a personal preference. Yeah, I could squeeze out like more consistent XP rates if I didn't do that, but no, I just don't care enough to. Let's see, I don't remember exactly what I said I wanted to work on after the 80 Runecrafting, but I think I did say I would like to do some smithing, and I did manage to bank, I don't know when exactly I pulled this off, I managed to bank some amount of big bones while they dipped to a pretty cheap price for a while. I'd like to get more, and I think if I do get more, probably regardless if I get more or not, I think I'm going to grind out more fire making and just bury bones while fire making. I think I discussed this, but I did the math, and for how much extra prayer XP I'll get, or like how much time I'll save on the prayer if I were to use vile ashes rather than big bones for fire making, it doesn't really seem worth it for me. So that means net I'll have to do a little more prayer, but also it'll be like way cheaper. Oh, I think I was meaning to do the math on how much money I need total, but my total cash stack is coming along okay. I've got some priorities in passively trying to accumulate bone fragments. Other than that, basically all my money is in these Addy bars, and sometimes I just lazily, I don't always alch if I'm really feeling lazy. So I have right now already over 2 full hours worth of alching to convert my plate bodies into money, but that's something I can kind of take my time with. And probably by the time I get to the bottom of the stack, I don't know if it'll quite reach 3 hours worth of allocating, because I am getting a decent amount of allocs in, with each inventory this way. But yeah, allocating's not that big a deal, because sometimes if I just feel like taking a break from runecrafting for whatever reason, I'm just bank standing, I might alc a little bit. If I take a trip to the Grand Exchange because the prices for some supply are really cheap, I might bank stand and alc a little bit. And especially with runecrafting, like, I don't get ragged often, but sometimes I do, and when I do, I just bank stand and alc for a while and hope that whoever was at Barbarian Village is now gone. So having this much, money tied up in Addy plate body is not really a big deal, because ultimately I still can convert it pretty quickly in the scheme of things, and Addy bars aren't like cheap right now, so probably by the time I convert it, I will just like throw in a buy order for Addy bars to be cheap again, and then go from there, and keep enough cash on hand for whatever else I might need. I was running low on Laurens at some point, but I should have comfortably enough to finish Addy Runecrafting and still have plenty left over. And then we'll see what I do. If I get active playtime, the fire making and prayer is something that would be nice for clean stats. But I kind of am getting the itch to try mining again. I'll probably regret that after like 82 mining, but I sort of want to get back to it. It's pretty fun. And especially like the cheaper and cheaper nature runes get, the more it's tempting to superheat along with the mining. Obviously I collect on like the 0-time magic XP, and I get a little bit of bonus smithing XP off it. Although, if I were pushing for like a lot of EHP and high stats, like really long term, that would make sense to do. But smithing is definitely like the skill that you need that least. If I were in like the 70s of smithing, I think I would consider that more, because training smithing up to a level where you can do adamant plate bodies is like expensive no matter how you slice it. It's just like mithril plate bodies rarely get cheap at all. You're like lucky, I think, if you have to pay like 2 GP per XP, and it's a lot of times it's more than that. And at adamant you can often start breaking even or profiting, and then obviously rune is like a money maker. It's like the bonus smithing XP, post 99 or something, like, that would still matter if I cared about like 200 mils or again like high EHP numbers, but it's a lot less important than, or I guess like not that big of a deal to me, because there's a lot of reasons I could just post 99 smith for money, and like what's bonus XP to me if it's my main money making method. So probably won't do that, although even though it's like more click intensive to superheat while mining, there's something satisfying about the rhythm of it as well. But it's pretty good rhythm to just mine normally, not even tick manipulating. Maybe I'll give that a shot again, but I did find it pretty difficult to do with leather. And I could try snow at like Alcarid, for example, or maybe, no, yeah, I think Mining Guild was not an ideal spot for it. I think Alcarid is where I would need to go. But the XP rate is not like that much higher. It's higher, but not that much higher. Not enough that I think I would really bother with like a tick manipulation method. It could be something good to learn, but tick manipulation I could probably also, I think there's more room that I could squeeze out of fishing and wood cutting. And I mean, I think in raw XP rates probably wood cutting is the most, Especially if I alk, then it's like efficient to do oaks while alking, even though you get better XP rates from willows. I'm talking 2-tick oaks, of course, versus like 2.66 willows, which 2.66 willows looks really hard to me. 2-tick oaks looks not as hard. Still like a little inconvenient to set up with rats, but not terribly hard as far as I can tell. And then fishing, yeah, fishing can get like a lot of XP squeezed out of it. I think, I forget what the best fishing XP rates are, but I think with I wonder if that ding played or not. Probably did. That was on my end. I know someone's like checking their messenger. With regular barbarian fishing, no tick manipulation, I think at highest levels it's probably like 60k an hour maybe. But with tick manipulation you get like 90k an hour, or maybe it was even more. Maybe it was a little less, but I know it's like up there. It's like somewhere like near the realm of 100k an hour. And because you're going like from taking what was a 5-tick cycle and making it into like a 3-tick cycle, maybe it's like 3 point some decimal with like the eerie fishing, but still you're basically making it a 3-tick cycle. You know, you make it so much faster. So big deal. And that might be something fun to try out. So, you know, we'll see. Gathering skills. I get more excited about training like gathering skills than I do about training combat skills for sure. I've never found combat to be like particularly engaging. The only RuneScape account where I've ever had like decent combat stats was actually like my original main in what's now RS3, which was free to play for a long time, and I trained combat mostly through dungeoneering. I just really enjoyed dungeoneering, and then even when I switched to members, still like I didn't particularly enjoy Slayer, but I liked dungeoneering. And that's really like all I would train combat for. But you know, I'll have to get back to that at some point. And then the processing, there's not that many processing skills for free to play. I guess there's not that many in general. But we still got crafting, smithing, and cooking. And you know, cooking's a bank standing with wines, or very easy with fish. Smithing is probably the least enjoyable for me, but maybe that's just because I find it harder to, you know, just sit down and like AFK it. You know, if I could afford to just bank all of smithing, I think I would like enjoy it more. And then crafting, you know, probably still gonna just snipe uncut gems when they're at good prices from here on out, and that makes crafting, you know, very fast and bank standable. So that's like as AFK as it gets. Well, anyways, it's been on the, I guess, still a medium end of my rambles. Tried to fill the time because around 8 minutes I ran out of things to say. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little update video. I know it's another month of like, kind of low gains for me, but hopefully we get to something big. Maybe I'll even, you know, come out swinging with some really high levels. In one of these already 90 stats. If Addy bars get cheap again, I might just muster up the strength to finish this out. I don't know when I'll do cooking. I'm still not in a hurry to do cooking. But either way, hopefully having more total level gains. If I could get over 1250 for the next update, that would be good. If I take a lot of time to play, which I probably won't, then I could definitely do higher. But I think like 1250 is a reasonable goal to set myself towards for this next update, especially since I'm already almost there with the smithing. That's going to be 1243 soon. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next Jobringus update.